Stephen French broke the shackles of his white oppressor in the 1981 race riots and became a man.
I can remember raising my head to the sky and letting out a primeval roar of victory.
He trained himself into a world kickboxing champion. Now he turned his attention to his full-time occupation, taxing drug dealers. A new drug hit the streets in the mid-80s that would change the face of the underworld forever, and allegedly make Stephen French a mint.
I could phone someone now and order a kilo of crack for 30 grand. I wouldn't have to touch it. I'd give it to 10 people to sell for me. I'd make £15,000 and then pay back. It's easy. It's too easy.
But more drug dealers meant only one thing to Stephen: more business. At his peak, he was rumoured to be taxing a dealer a week, earning hundreds of thousands of pounds for just a few hours' work. Stephen had agreed to give me a unique insight into his past as an underworld taxman. Now I was on my way to meet him in a secret location in the suburbs. I didn't know it yet, but I was only minutes away from one of the maddest experiences of my life.
I've asked Danny Dyer to meet me here this afternoon, right, with a view to showing him a taxation scenario. These are the things that are actually going on today. They're quite horrific and scary, but this is the insight that I want the viewer to have, and those of the squeamish should look away.
This is the first time a real-life taxation scenario has ever been shown on TV. Stephen was taking a big risk by opening up this side to me, but I got the feeling he was on his own journey to atone for some of the things that happened in the past.
You know, this guy is known as the Taxman. You know, his nickname was the Devil, and there was a reason for that, in the fact that, you know, he used to rob drug dealers, and he used to, you know, I don't know, torture them. I don't know what he used to do to them, but, you know, I need to get a sense of that. You know, obviously not too much, you know what I mean?
It's time to get into character. It's time for the switch to be flipped. I don't want to scare the guy. I don't want to glamorize the taxation, but I want to show the nitty-gritty, nuts and bolts of what actually used to take place.
Here we go. With the taxation. All right, let's have it. So the door's already open, so it's like, okay, sweet, let's go in.
Yeah,
away,
yeah. Even if you want to start struggling, right? If I put it on you now, Dan, you're gone. Yeah. I'm only holding you. Yeah. Right? But it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight
lifted.
Away.
You're going to be awake for about 3 seconds. You lifted. You put down in a chair. Right? And then the individual, the people that had him, would secure him in the chair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hands and feet to secure him in the chair. Yeah. Keep him quiet. But they'd leave his eyes open. I've had some geezers, and they started to mouth off, blah, 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 who do you think you are, blah, 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 and I just jammed their eye. You get me? Just jammed their eye, and just, you know, give them some sharp pain, right? And say to them, well, you know, shut up, because next time your eye will come out, next time I'll pop your eye out. If you want to come out to the sunscape, behave yourself, be respectful. The individual that now had you would be dressed in head to toe in black. They'd have a black balaclava and black gloves on, right? And you wouldn't be able to see who they were. They'd have a really large kitchen knife, yeah? And the first thing to do would walk over to you and it'd show you the knife and put the knife down, yeah? And then the rhetoric possibly would go something like this. I fucking hate drug dealers. I fucking hate people that sell drugs to children and ruin communities, but I fucking love money. I'm here to relieve you of your cash. If you don't give me your cash, really horrible, nasty things are going to happen to you. But it's all a matter for you. I don't want to have to harm you. I don't want to have to hurt you. But you're poisoning communities. You're killing people. and you're getting fat and rich off it, and that disgusts me. You disgust me. So it's a matter for you. I've got a phone here. Fresh, clean phone, never been used. You're gonna call your stash minder, whether it's your fucking granny, your ma, your bird, your best pal, and you're gonna make it good. And you're gonna tell them, in about an hour, someone's coming to pick up the money. You're gonna have to act like you've never fucking acted before. And if you use any codes, like I know you're referred to as Danny, if you say something like it's Daniel on the phone, I know you're using a code. Don't fucking try any of that shit, because I've been here before. I'm a professional. This is what I do. And this is how the individual will be made to feel. You'll be overwhelmed psychologically. And if you don't do that, this is what's going to happen to you.
Stephen's told us not to broadcast what he's whispering in my ear. It's too upsetting. But I can tell you, it's not something I'll forget.
Something along those lines, Dan. Yeah?
Well, I'd pull up the dough immediately. I'd pull up the dough, man. You just think...
To my shame, and to my embarrassment, it's stripping them of the dignity. I've had a 17-stone fucking bodybuilder come in and shit his kecks. You get me? Proper mess his trousers. Piss himself because they don't know what's going to happen. And this is why taxation is such a nasty, evil activity. I regret it 100%. And one of the reasons why I'm speaking about it now, I'm being quite graphic about it, is to bring it to the wider public of what it's all about.
Yeah, I've just got a sense of what that could be like, and I just think
you know, if it's done correctly, nobody gets hurt physically. But I actually believe, in retrospect, the emotional and mental damage that it can cause to an individual leaves me ashamed.
I mean, it's hard to feel sorry for a smack dealer, do you know what I mean? But you would think, you know, that is the worst case scenario. I don't see how you come back from that. I can't really understand how anyone wouldn't pull up the dough or wouldn't do as they're told, you know what I mean? That's freaked me out a little bit. That's done me. I feel a bit sick. I feel like I'm going to chuck my breakfast up.
I needed to take a breather and get some fresh air. Luckily, before too long, I was back to my old self.
All right, girls?
Hiya.
You all right, love? A couple of salts. Right up my street.
French no longer taxes anyone, but he still trades off his hard man reputation to make money. But this time legitimately as a self-styled problem solver extraordinaire and commercial debt recoverer. He invited me to follow him on a debt.
Radisson, there's a guy there waiting to see me. It's fucking roasting 2 ticks.
I'll wait here for you, yeah? I've jumped straight in the motor. He's had to stop off somewhere, go and pick something up. Don't know what. So, you know, obviously I'm going to do as I'm told. I don't know what he's after, I don't know what he's got to get. He's coming now, so I'm going to be lively. Sorted. Sweet ass. Oh, mate, sweet ass.
It's only taken minutes, but Stephen's just picked up 10 grand.
That was something, 10 grand for a Friday afternoon away.
Sweet as. So to get that money back, it's usually just a bit of dialogue you just need to use, yeah?
It's as simple as this, Dan, right? If I say to you, if you don't pay me the money that you fucking owe me, I'm going to snap your legs in about 4 places.
Yeah.
I broke the law. If I come to you and I say to you, you owe the money, you know it's the right thing to do. You know who I am, you know what I'm about, so pay the money.
Yeah.
I haven't broken no laws.
Yeah.
In the early 90s, Stephen was at the peak of his powers as the country's most feared taxman. When something happened that shook him to his core and would change his life forever.
I was in the afternoon on Granby Street and I was shot 4 times in the back by a dirty coward. I just couldn't believe Andrew was dead.
It took 45 minutes for them to come and take him to the hospital. And an ambulance come to the end of the street after 5 minutes, but because it was a gun crime, you had to wait for on response. That was another 40 minutes.
And I actually believed that it was the end of the world, that my world had come to an end.
Every year on the anniversary of Andrew's murder, Stephen and his brothers meet up to pay tribute to him.
Oh, by the way, they're trying to get me to link up with you a little bit sooner than I'm ready. Just took a few shots at me this year, kid. But I'm still here. A lot of bullshit going on. Nothing that I can't handle. A lot of people that don't like me say it should have been me. And it shouldn't have been him. And it transpires that the guy that killed Andrew had more reason to want to kill me. And the reason why he had more reason to want to kill me is that he believed I was responsible for doing something terrible to him.
We can listen to as many conspiracy theories as possible. It's not going to bring my brother back, so at the end of the day...
Andrew's murder was the catalyst for Stephen to start reassessing his life.
And I believe that I was protected and I was saved for the reason. I've been there, I've seen it, I've done it. Listen to me. There's another way. Lay down your firearms. Embrace education and learn to look after your family other than pistolero or drug dealer. If I save one young man, black, white, Chinese or indifferent, from ending up in a premature grave due to gun violence and crime, it will all have been worthwhile.
Today, Stephen has been invited to speak to a delegation of high-profile criminologists and academics to help spread his anti-gun message. In his friend's memory, he plans to open the Andrew John Memorial Skills Centre to prevent teenagers from following in his footsteps.
Will it be a happy ending or one to regret? Success, prison or death, I need to watch out.
It's a humbling and a liberating experience to be invited to speak here today.
He hopes the speech will help raise funding for the Skills Centre.
I have to bear responsibility and culpability in the rise of the phenomenon known as gun crime. I'm 6'3", 225 pounds of prime black male. And how could a 10-stone drug dealer protect himself from a guy like me, former British, European and world kickboxing champion? How he did it is he armed himself. 1994, my daughter was born and I had an epiphany. I knew I had to turn my life around. My options were success, death or jail. Me personally, I want to show them the way to success. I want to show them the road to success. Success as a bricklayer, success as a plumber, success as a carpenter. All areas of success that don't lead to jail or death and don't lead to a life of drugs or pistolero. This is done to shock and horrify, yeah? This is a t-shirt that several young men had made that I've made an attempt on my life because I'm standing up to be counted and giving an anti-gun message. R.I.P. Stephen French. Such is my determination, I've changed R.I.P. to really increase the peace. Thank you very much for the time and effort. That was nerve-wracking.
Even the fact that he's trying to change is an achievement, because when you've been knees deep in high-level organised crime for 20 years, it's really difficult to turn your back on it.
With a young family and extra responsibility, Stephen was determined to turn over a new leaf. But going straight was going to be the hardest thing Stephen French has ever done. Coming up, Stephen ups the ante.
Every ounce of my warrior being called out to attack.
And I'll come face to face with his enemies.
Stephen French is a grass. He's a pussy.
Stephen was at the peak of his powers in the underworld when he gave it all up in the 90s. The death of his blood brother and partner in crime, Andrew John, had a dramatic impact on his life.
And I actually believed that it was the end of the world.
He moved out of Toxteth and now lives across the river in leafy suburbia, where he runs a successful property portfolio and debt recovery business. I wanted to get to the bottom of why Stephen had been shot at recently, so he invited me to his house to show me around. He's survived 7 assassination attempts, so it's no surprise that Stephen is security conscious. He'll protect his family at all costs.
The gangsters today don't discern between you, your family or your associates. If they can get at you by killing your daughter or kidnapping your daughter, they will do.
I was about to discover that Stephen had an Achilles heel that was a lot closer to home.
This is my family war.
And the problem didn't come from outside. It come from his own flesh and blood.
Stephen Jr. was involved in gangs. He was starting to get into the criminal lifestyle.
There was nothing Stephen could do to prevent his son from sinking deeper into crime.
He blames himself to a degree that Stephen Jr. is behaving like he is because he's trying to live up to his dad's reputation and stuff.
And Stephen's worst nightmare came true when his son was shot.
When I seen my own son's blood being collected in a container, the big, bad, wicked devil Frenchman, beloved like a baby. The tears were uncontrollable. My Stephen said to me, Dad, don't cry, I'm okay, I'm fine. Because he resented the fact that I was broken. Every ounce of my fiber, every ounce of my warrior being called out to attack and wreak havoc. That's what my heart told me. The demon that I can summon on in an instant was rattling the cage, man, rattling the cage. And I had to control that demon. I had to control that demon.
Since the shooting, Stephen Jr. has left Liverpool to successfully rebuild his life, but his dad is still dealing with the fallout. Stephen's enemies have gone to great lengths to assassinate his character, even tagging the walls with graffiti, accusing him of being a police informer.
Being called a grass is like someone calling you a paedophile, and then once that label's put on you, you're fair game to be shot.
This home footage shows just what he thinks of the person responsible.
A little skulking little bitch that runs around in the evening painting shit on the wall about a man that he's so jealous of, so envious of. The greenness is oozing out of you.
I challenge any journalist in the country to find or dig out the statements where somebody's received a custodial sentence from something that I did, because I've never police informed on anybody.
The bitterness against Stephen and his family runs deep with the new generation in Toxteth. I wanted to track down who these kids were that now control the streets and find out for myself what they think of Stephen. A gang of them agreed to speak, provided their identities were hidden.
I heard he come here the week right there where we're standing now. And he got shot at and that, so you tell me if he come through here again, I don't know what would happen. He might have been feared back in the day, but obviously it's 2008 and things have changed and he's not feared no more. Stephen French is a grass. He's a pussy.
These kids were hiding behind their masks, but Stephen still has to take their threat seriously.
I sleep on the couch and my wife and daughter sleep upstairs because my address is no secret, and if people choose to come to my house, choose to break into my house and then attempt to murder me, they'll find me downstairs. But the people that come for me, they're not going to come
with Ludo and Tiddlywinks, yeah? 38, 45 pump-popping shotguns is what's going to be the recipe for me. In the face of that, I stay here. In the face of that, as a black Englishman, I'm entitled to defend my castle. And this is a phrase I use for only trusted family and friends. This is one hard nigger to kill. This is one hard nigger to kill.
Even though Stephen forgives those people who want to kill him, he still has to control his natural instinct to fight back.
So, I mean, how hard has it been to sort of turn your back on that world, you know? And
Well, the transition has been very, very difficult. At times, the desire to say, fuck this, let's do it again then, right? Because some of the people, like, that are coming at me now, right? They're like Jack Russells snapping at the heels of a Rottweiler. Do you get me? That if I wanted to, I could shake them.
Yeah.
If I wanted to, I could turn their lives upside down. If I wanted to, I could make them have nightmares about me. I could make them see me in a dream, because the fire, the will to crush your enemies is still there. But I'm a different person. I have to lead by example. I don't want to be murdered. I don't want to die a violent death. But if that's my lot, so be it. You understand? Because someone has to take a stand, someone has to stand up, and we have to start somewhere to start to readjust the balance of what's going on.
Stephen French helped break the stranglehold of racism in the 80s with his bare fists and should be a hero in the community. Instead, because of his anti-gun campaign, he's hated by a new generation of gangsters.
He's put his life on the line for something that he believes in, and there's no greater honour than that.
You cannot stop him in any of the conventional terms.
I know in my heart, in my mind, and in my soul, in my kukuru, my inner heart, what type of man I am. I choose to stay here and campaign against guns and do what I'm doing because I'm giving something back.
In today's gang wars, the rules of engagement have changed radically since Stephen's day. I've learnt that teenage gangs fear no one, and they'll shoot you to prove it. Stephen is nearly 50 years old, but he's lost none of his will to fight. He's going to the ultimate lengths to battle gun crime by putting his own life on the line. I'm just glad I met Stephen now, and not in his day, when he was one of Britain's deadliest men.